Today, I thought it would be helpful to walk you through my general approach to camera placement and focal length choice when it comes to interviews. Right now, I have my FX3 in 28-70 at about 35 millimeters. Now, if I'm having the person deliver to camera or if I have a teleprompter, this would be my composition. So just below the chest there, and I have some headroom. So this would be the wide, because I mean, if you think about it, if you're talking to somebody, you're not looking like, you can't see all the way down, you're focusing on the person, right? And so just below the chest and just above the head makes sense, especially if it's more of a storytelling context and it's more of an intimate type of setting. Now, I've slightly moved the camera over, and if I didn't have a teleprompter or I wasn't having the character or talent speak directly to camera, this would be my wide again. So just below the chest and a little bit of headroom just to help give the person a little bit of room to kind of sit back or maybe, sit up or just move around a little bit. Now, if I had a second camera for an interview, I would mostly likely generally place it about 45 degrees from the talent at 50 millimeters, which is what my FX3 is at right now, about the middle of the sternum, give or take, and give the person a little bit of headroom, again, just to give them some movement and breathing room. I've made the mistake of making the shot too close when it didn't call for it, and it made it feel more claustrophobic or intense, so do be mindful of that. Now, you may or may not have noticed, but all of these shots thus far have been at eye level. And generally speaking, for most interviews, that's fine. But if you want to give the character an air of power or authority or what have you, you may want to have the camera slightly below eye level and angled upward to give that perceived feeling, or you may want to be slightly higher and lowered down to give a perceived feeling of weakness or vulnerability or what have you. So just keep that in mind. But generally speaking, 35 millimeters from my wide, either here or slightly off axis, and then 50 millimeters for the more dramatic angle for a second camera is my preferred general setup for interviews. Now, if you're using a Super 35 or APS-C, just keep in mind of that crop factor of 1.5. So 35 becomes, on a Super 35, becomes roughly 50, and then 50 becomes roughly 75. So either move the cameras backward to compensate or use a wider angle. If you found this helpful, I would really appreciate a like and a subscription if you're feeling generous. And I will catch you next time.